Hello.
Oh, hey, Adam. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Oh, good. All right, good. It looks like you're coming through the sound as well. Good. Okay. Man, always fly by the seat of my pants to get these started on time. So how have you been?
Good. I'm technically on holiday today.
Oh, cool. Now is
So
that,
it's
so that's vacation in Australianese. Is that like time you're taking off from work, or is it like a national holiday?
yeah, so basically I've taken 2 days of annual leave so I can have a 4-day weekend.
Cool.
So we're in school holidays at the moment, in between the terms.
Okay.
And so yeah, just taking a couple of days off. We're gonna go away and stay with some friends at their house in another town.
Okay, cool.
So just to get away from housework and all that.
Yeah, that sounds relaxing. Friends that you've known for a while, I assume? For
Yeah, a little while. They started off as fans of our YouTube travel channel,
Oh, cool.
and then they became our patrons.
Okay.
Then they actually moved to Tasmania, so we started getting to know them a bit better.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so they're very generous people. They were never able to have their own kids, so they like to use their resources just to bless others. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, then they're fellow Christians, which was cool to learn.
Oh, wow, that's great.
And yeah, so they said, come down and hang out with us. So.
Nice. Nice. That's gotta... Is there... Like, have you met them before?
Yeah, we've met them a couple of times
Okay.
in person before. So.
Okay, all right, cool. I was gonna say, man, that would be...
Yeah.
This is the first time meeting them and you're committing to a weekend?
No. You got to be a little bit cautious about these things.
Yeah. Trying to think, it's a pretty small number of people that I've met in person from my content creation. It's probably maybe 5 or less. I mean, like actually in person, like I met them physically somewhere. Yeah, it's been awesome every time. Awesome every time. But there's always a little bit of like, okay, beforehand.
Yeah.
And more or less depending on how much, you've interacted with them prior to, meeting them in person.
Well, I think especially as an introvert, there's that level of stress and tension just meeting a person regardless.
Yes.
That certainly I feel.
Yeah. Yep. Is your wife introverted as well?
Yes, but in a very different way. So I'm like a real shy, reserved kind of introvert. Very socially awkward. The stereotypical nerd. My wife is outgoing and bubbly.
Okay.
But at the same time, she does, get drained by being with people, and she likes to have alone time to rejuvenate.
Gotcha.
So
Yep.
yeah, she's an introvert in the true definition of the word, but not in the way people often think of it.
Gotcha. Okay. It's so funny that, you describe yourself as socially awkward because you don't give me that impression at all in any of the times I've interacted with you. But then again, I also suspect that people would not think of me as being socially awkward. And as geeks go, I don't want to, claim too much geek cred in that area. I don't think I'm socially awkward in the way that many geeks are. But I mean, if you get me in the right mood where I'm just like, I'm really drained and I really just don't want to interact with people and it takes a lot of extra energy, then I can have some really awkward moments. Like just last night I was picking up Asher from youth group, and it was dark, and one of the adult leaders was saying bye to Asher or whatever, and then I heard something that could have been my name, or it could have been the end of her saying see you later. That's a tricky one for me. and I just had a moment. I was like, this is the moment. Do you ask? Do you clarify? Are you talking to me? And I was like, I don't want to go there. And so I just pretended I did not hear anything.
Yes.
But then Asher and I got in the car, and I saw after I got in the car that her husband was getting in their vehicle, and I clearly knew her husband. Suddenly I knew exactly who this person was. And I was like, crap, now I know exactly who that was. If they said my name and I totally ignored them, that's super rude, or at the very least super weird. And so before I could think better of it, I just stood up and said, "Oh, Ryan, Stephanie, I sorry, I didn't recognize you," and just had this weird, awkward moment that they both laughed at and just waved, and that this wave of dismissal, like, don't worry about it, whatever. But so I definitely have my moments. And then, of course, I replay those moments again and again and again and again later on.
Yes. Yeah, been there. Sometimes you just have to just actively say to yourself, stop thinking about the past. That's gone.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Like, I'll replay embarrassing or awkward encounters from like 10, 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yes, me too. Totally. Ugh. Yeah. That's terrible. That's a terrible curse we have. And it all comes down to, for me, it comes down to my pride. I care too much about what people think, and if I just and so I have to let go of that again and again and again. Like, dang it, Pater, stop, and then usually the thought winds over to, oh Jesus, come quickly, please. I'm just tired of this.
I think another side of it that you just kind of mentioned before about is that you worry that you might have hurt or upset or offended someone else's feelings as well.
Yeah.
And so you start to feel a bit of guilt about that.
Yeah. Well,
and just
that's good of you. Actually, that's not near as common for me. It usually just stays in the realm, unfortunately, about what they think of me. So that's a good heart that's been developed in you, Adam, to go there. I go there sometimes, but it's not my default.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, is that JD? I haven't looked. Let me look at the thing here.
Yep.
It is. Hey, how are you, Justin?
Doing all right, you?
I've been. This day has been a little weird. I've been in just a bit of a funk today. I woke up and for whatever reason during my quiet time was just in a place of very sober thoughts about mortality and death-related stuff, and I've just kind of stayed in a place of various down thoughts since then for, recurringly throughout the day, more so than usual. And I've been trying to figure out, is this me being tired? Is some lack of sleep catching up with me? Or is it the caffeine? Or am I a little bit stressed about something and I haven't pinpointed what it is yet? So it's not really acute, but I've noticeably been in a little bit of a funk today. So I don't know what that's about yet.
Sounds rough. I had another Monday today.
Oh, did you? Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. I had to shovel a bunch of corn by hand. Got blisters on my hands.
Ugh.
Ow.
Why by hand?
Yep.
What was the game changer that made you have to do it by hand? If you can say that, if you can explain it to a layperson.
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever see the semi trucks with they're white, black, or silver, and they have the two hopper bottoms underneath them. They're grain haulers.
Okay, I'll trust you that they exist, but I can't picture it right now.
Well, I'm sure you see them moving around all the time. But anyways, we have a system that unloads them because they drop it into a pit. Well, that pit plugged up, so me and the young guy had to go and shovel it by hand and try and get going again. So,
oh man,
it was a lot of hard labor right at the end of the day. And of course, we're hot here. It was like 90 97, 98. Of course, you're laughing at that, but
well, no, but
it's
you know
hot
what?
for us.
Where are you at? Probably a place with humidity, right?
No, we're in Colorado. We're dry, but
okay. Well,
it's
you know what?
It's hotter than it normally is.
Yeah,
for
and
us.
when you're working out, you're doing like manual labor outdoors. That raises the degree by like, I don't know, 20 or 30 degrees somehow, right?
Right.
Got it. That's no joke. So, well, I'm glad your workday is over. Is it over right now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I shut everything off. I needed to keep filling, but I had to take the boy to baseball practice, so
Okay.
I'm just sitting here watching him practice and talking to you guys.
Okay. Cool.
AD, you said that 98 is probably not overly hot from Peter's perspective. I just did a calculation to Celsius, and it came out as 36, and that's way too hot for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's too hot for you.
25.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know what that is in American units, but 70 is what I like.
70.
Yeah, it's
21. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
it is. Let me see. Let me
That's
look on the
probably around my
computer.
ideal.
Its reading is 108 on the computer thermostat. That's not the temperature of the computer. That's the temperature probably in Mesa right now. 108.
Oh, dang, that sounds miserable.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. I mean, it's. I was actually expecting it to be in the teens. That's a pretty common read. Is 110, 112, something like that. And you know, on some really hot days in the summer, it can get up to around 120. The record temperature for years was 122, and I actually got a T-shirt saying I survived 122 degrees in Arizona because when we hit that record. The day we hit it, our family was on the way home from a vacation, coming back from Montana.
Oh, dear.
And the air conditioning in the car had conked out on us in the last, 4 hours of the trip or so. And so we stopped and got big, thirst buster drinks, at a Circle K or whatever. I remember having those between my legs and really sweating it out and almost truly surviving, in the truest sense, 122 degrees. It was something.
I
could not live in Arizona. I'd like to visit it one day, but I could not live there.
Yeah, me neither. But it's a dry heat, right?
That's what we say, and it does make a difference, But you're in Tasmania, in Australia. Isn't that kind of like a desert climate?
So Tasmania is a state that all the other states make fun of, saying that it's always cold, it's never hot, you're not real Australians.
Oh.
So because we're down the bottom, we're just above Antarctica.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're much lower on the globe.
Now, you say the bottom, but I remember when I was in Australia in junior high with the Phoenix Boys Choir, seeing that Australia was on the weather maps or whatever on TV was flips upside down, so it's like it was treating the South Pole like the North Pole. Do they still do that?
I have never seen that other than jokes. When we turn the map upside down and we say, no, this is what the world's really like, guys. But no, I've never seen that in a serious situation. That's interesting.
Oh, huh. I wonder...
Yeah, that sounds like a joke, Peter.
Well, maybe... my memory could be playing tricks on me, too, but, I'm almost certain I saw that and was like, oh, that's interesting. So, you know what? If it happened, then someone... It's got to be Googleable. It's got to be Googleable in some way. So maybe I'll check that out later, or one of you guys can and get back to me. And if it's not found on Google, then I will just... assume that my memory's playing tricks on me. Let's see. I'm playing Stranger of Sword City right now, which is one of the new kind of grid-based, turn-based RPGs that I've really rediscovered my love of lately. What have you guys been doing for geek fun? Anything lately?
Have you talked about that game on the podcast yet?
I briefly talked about it when I talked about Elmanage Original a couple weeks ago, and then I might have talked about it a little bit more last week. I can't remember, but it's in my notes to give a little more time to in the Geek Week segment this week.
Yeah, no, I've been playing Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, in my free time on the PC.
Okay.
And I'm pretty close to finishing that. I'm trying to get as much out of it as I can before I do the final boss.
Okay. Now, remind me, is that one of those like JRPGs that has kind of a... It goes into a small action-based arena type environment for combat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
like
exactly what it is.
Kind of like the Tales series?
Yeah, I haven't played any Tales series, so I wouldn't know if that's what that is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a battle arena, and you get 3 party members, and they all have different weapons and skills and stuff. So
I think I remember hearing that it was good. Are you liking it?
Oh, I love it. It's great, and especially if you have, young kids that want to play a game like that, it'd be perfect for something like that.
Okay. Is there a multiplayer element during combat?
No, there's not like any multiplayer to it, but like if my son is just getting to the age where if he would start reading, because there's a lot of reading in it, kind of like your classic Final Fantasies. So if my son was actually reading better, he could play something like that, and I wouldn't have any issue with him playing, because it doesn't have too much. No, there really isn't any questionable content in it. It's all kind of light and
cool
and fantasy.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I also rediscovered my 3DS that I bought a long time ago. I've been playing one of the Fire Emblem games.
Oh, those are much loved.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really got into them as much as everyone likes them, and I like the tactic turn-based kind of fighting that they do, but I don't know. I just can't get into them sometimes.
Okay. Are you generally a JRPG fan, Justin?
Yeah, I'd say so. Final Fantasy is one of my preferred series.
Okay. What's your top Final Fantasy game?
That's a tough one.
It is. That's why I asked.
No easy questions here, I guess. I'd say 7 had the most impact on me, the original 7.
Yeah.
Because that was one I played growing up. I remember playing a lot of it. But as far as, Final Fantasy games that I've liked and actually finished, really the only one that I finished is 15. And that was because I joined this group that does this backlog breakdown golf where they get points for finishing games and stuff like that. And I noticed that I was in the end stages of that game. I was horribly underleveled, so I had to grind a little bit, and then I just beelined the main story and got it over with.
Okay.
I enjoyed the story, and I don't mind the battle system. I'm not particular to if it's turn-based or action. I'm all right with both. But
okay. Well, that helps you enjoy a wider variety of Final Fantasy games then, because they've certainly played around with their combat. Yeah. The old turn-based stuff is cool, but I just tend to... I kind of get hooked up on graphics sometimes, Okay, yeah.
After seeing some of the better quality stuff, you go back to the older stuff. I know some of the older fans who are part of this group might be screaming right now, but I like good graphics.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I think that that's totally a legitimate priority as a gamer to say, listen, I want a world that visually entices me, that visually draws me in. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's that's totally legitimate. And Final Fantasy is and has been throughout the years one of the best places to go for top-notch visuals.
Oh yeah, but the one thing that bothered me about 15, and I'm sure everyone's bothered by this, is how long those cutscenes were.
Oh, okay.
You know, just having kids and, you know, having to get up and go away from the computer at any time. Those cutscenes were brutal.
I'm trying to remember.
5 minutes here.
Were they pausable?
They were long. Yeah, I think some of them were, but I remember getting into some of it, especially like right before a boss fight. You're wanting to stay in the, you know, you're hyped up for this boss fight, and then you have like this 10-minute like video that you have to watch.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And you don't want to miss it the first time. Like, but if you have to repeat anything, you just skip it. But
yeah. Unless it's unskippable and unstoppable. That's like, there's so many ways that they can treat cutscenes wrong. If they're unskippable and unstoppable, that's terrible. If you don't know what will happen when you push a button, if it's going to pause it or just skip it altogether, that's a horrible first moment, you know, when you come to that, like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna push buttons.
right.
Oh. Adam, have you been doing anything geeky and fun lately?
Yeah, so when I've had some time for some gaming, I've been playing Skyrim.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you do that. How many have you been keeping track of your hours? You know how many hours you put in yet?
Yeah, it's 100.
Whoa, nice.
20-ish, I think.
Nice.
I've been playing
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah. I only started playing the game like a year ago for the first time. So, like, about 2 weeks ago, I finished the main quest for the first time.
Okay, yeah, I think, did you mention that on the forums? That sounds familiar.
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And remind me, what race and class are you playing?
So I am an Argonian, which is like a lizard person.
That's right. That's right.
And, I use a one-handed sword. I actually got like a magic sword.
Okay.
And I use a lot of... I always have a magic spell in the other hand, so usually a destruction spell and a sword, and I kind of use them together.
Okay.
When I'm dying and I don't have any potions, I switch to a healing spell instead of a destruction. But I'm just enjoying kind of going. I've dealt with the whole Alduin thing, but I never chose sides in the Civil War because my character didn't really want to take sides. But with Alduin out of the way and with him feeling like, now what am I going to do with my life? I had him pick a side, and so I've been playing through the Civil War plotline.
Okay.
And at the same time, just kind of ticking off random side quests that I have over the map that I hadn't done yet. It was really cool because I was walking from Solitude towards a quest marker on my map, and I discovered a town that I'd never found before.
Oh, that's cool. That's what a great feeling.
I spent like an entire afternoon just playing in that town, dealing with all the little things that happen in a town. Like there was this whole murder mystery that involved a vampire lord, and just to think that I've been playing so long and I can discover a place I didn't even know existed, like a whole new town. That was just so cool.
Just to go in on how long you play the game. I think at my first account, I was an orc warrior, and it took me 850 hours to finish the main quest line.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow, 850 hours?
Yeah, because I just kept finding other things to do, and I did the Civil War storyline too.
I don't think I've put that much time total into the game. So, hey, okay, Justin, have you encountered... I think once you get high enough level, you start getting hunted by some Black Knight or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, the Ebony Knight when you're level 70?
Yeah. Did you ever run into him?
He wants to challenge it. No, I've played that long, and I never made it to level 70.
Oh. Wow.
It's kind of a sad thing to say on that character, at least.
So you've been switching out
I know
characters?
what you're talking about. Yeah, no, that character had 850 hours. I lost that character. It was on an Xbox 360.
Okay.
I've bought Skyrim too many times.
Wow. I was just hearing about how there's a mod on PC that's kind of taken the Skyrim world by storm right now that allows you for the first time to play multiplayer with up to 8 players in the same game. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have. I'm not too crazy about multiplayer in the first place, so...
Yeah, me either. But it's really... I think it was striking to me because I thought, like with my son Asher, that would be the one. My boys really are among the very few people on planet Earth that I would really want to play and have wanted to play multiplayer games with. But I tend to not enjoy most games that are designed for multiplayer. Like MMOs, not my thing. Just mechanically. And so the Elder Scrolls Online's like, not really,
Yeah.
But dang, if I could play Skyrim as designed on console, with Asher, that could be really cool. So they don't have any plans to bring it to console, but I'm hoping that just being out in the world, someone will take up the torch and work on that mod, manipulate it to get it working on console, because that'd be crazy cool.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a Patron Skyrim adventure.
Yeah, I put up a while back, just kind of testing the waters and seeing, about maybe some possible options for some kind of a Patron multiplayer thing, and I like that idea in my head, and I still have that in my head. But every time I start thinking about logistics, there's something like, oh man, this might be a little more difficult than I thought. And I can't even remember what those logistics are now. I just know that whenever I sit down and think about it, there's something I remember like, oh yeah, I gotta solve that problem. So...
like getting all the patrons online at the same time?
Oh, I mean, that's part of it. I think part of it also was like, okay, what platform do we all have in common that could run a game that we all actually would want to play and install, and then like the friending system, or how the various ways that there's just several variables involved.
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm a all platform player. I've got all of them. The only one I don't have is the newest on Xbox.
Okay.
I'm still in the Xbox One.
I'm shortly to expand my platform availability.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So well, first, but before saying that, so I've been wanting to get some of the DLCs for Skyrim.
Okay.
But they've made it so hard to purchase stuff for PS3 on the store now. You can't.
Oh, sure.
You can't use a credit card on the device. You have to load your wallet on the website.
Yep.
But the website is so broken that every time I try and put money in it, it just says this failed.
Oh, I had that same issue. Not long ago, and I had to resort to loading it up through my PS5. What the crap?
Hey, can you use the PlayStation Network app?
I didn't. Did I try that? I can't remember. I do actually have that.
Yeah, I
installed.
tried that and had the same problem with the website.
Okay. So maybe I did try it there too.
Technical support gave me like a generic form letter, which was no help at all.
But
my parents are planning to move to Queensland, which is kind of the Australian equivalent of going to Florida.
Okay.
So they've just bought a unit in a retirement village up there. It's basically a resort.
Okay.
It sounds awesome, and we're going to get to... They've got spare rooms so we can go visit them and have free accommodation. And
very nice.
But my mum said to me, she's got a PS4 for the grandkids, but the only use she'll have for it is when grandkids are coming to visit. And when you're up there's plenty of other things to do. You can play games at home. So she said, would you like to upgrade your PS3 to a PS4? And I said, well, I actually have been thinking of looking for a second-hand one. She said, well, I've got one, you can have it. So
oh, wow.
That's really cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, so cool.
So I'll probably end up just buying Skyrim on the PS4, and then I can get all the DLCs I want.
There you go.
Cool.
It's just a shame you can't bring your character with you.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. If you get it on the PS4, I'm trying to think if you do have access if you get like not the most recent like anniversary edition, but like the special edition. you do get access to mods on the PS4. Not all mods, that they are limited, but I mean, there's enough there that like you could maybe find some ways to take shortcuts to kind of get the equivalent of your character over and leveled up to where you like him.
Yeah. It's not so much about the well, I suppose partly about the level, but it's also about what quests have I already done, what have I still got to do, all those kind of things.
Okay, yeah, that is harder.
Yeah. And it's certainly the kind of game that you can create a new character play from scratch, but because I'm so close to the time and distance before I'm ready to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, it'll just feel like, I've just played all this.
Yeah, yep.
The only one who goes and makes a different character after like a couple levels and then tries to play a different style for a couple levels, like every couple days.
That's
my style is button mash.
Is that, wait, Justin, were you just saying that of yourself, that's what you tend to do?
Yeah, no, I'll like, I always default to like the brutish warrior button smasher, but like then I'll like want like a wizard and a thief, and I'll try playing through on those and with a different mind cannon. I always end up like back on the button smashing warrior, but I'll usually try like 4 or 5 different characters before I settle back to my default.
Okay. I tend to be pretty narrow-minded. I think I like what I like, and I don't tend to try the things unless the game kind of forces me to, which I tend to dislike, but I mean, I that has resulted in me discovering some flavors that I've enjoyed, but yeah.
Yeah, I just was thinking about how I could probably serenade you guys with the starting of Skyrim, because I've played it so many times.
Oh, yeah. I did that once too. This is years ago when I was helping out in the college ministry. I was just kind of like one of the quote-unquote adult, leaders. And so there was kind of a group of guys that I was connecting with, and so one of them, I left a message on his phone, and what did I do? I went, Eric, pick up your phone. There's a message for you. It's for you. Get your phone. There's a message for you. It's your phone. Oh, wow. It's a message for you. And I just went on and on. And he said that was the most epic message I've ever gotten on my answering machine.
You should do that to everyone you know.
I should. Yeah, that might scare quite a few of them.
Another thing I've been doing lately is I've been reading Batman comics.
Oh, DC Universe Infinite, right? Yeah, where are you at?
I followed the I think there was 4 Superman books all the way up to the beginning of the Death of Superman, which I've read before.
Okay.
And I thought, all right, now I'm going to go read Batman. So I'd already read Batman Year One, but I looked up the suggested reading order. I'm just reading various stories, and I'm up to Batgirl Year One now.
Okay. I don't think I've read that. That's. Do you know whenabouts that was published?
I think it was published in the early 2000s, but it's kind of set much earlier.
Is it Barbara Gordon?
It is, yes.
Okay.
So I've been reading basically a bunch of solo Batman stuff early in his career. I'm thinking, he's going to have to meet Dick Grayson at some point. And then I got to where he meets Dick Grayson, and then immediately after that is Girl Year One. So it's Barbara. I'm always confused by the fact that Jim's wife is Barbara and his daughter are Barbara.
Oh, I know.
Except his daughter is kind of also his step niece or something, and I'm not sure it's been completely consistent.
Yeah, I feel like his daughter Barbara might be from another marriage or something, but I'm not sure on the details. I agree, because in Batman Year One, when Batman saves Gordon's baby, it's a boy.
He has a young son.
And there's no mention of a daughter in that story that I recall. But I mean, Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, had certainly been in comics by that time, in the 80s. So I was always kind of mystified by that. And I know that Gordon has had at least 2 marriages. But, like, where Batgirl Barbara fits in, yeah, that's really interesting that you point that out, because I've never been able to nail that down.
Yeah. Well, some of the other stories I read that kind of follow on from Batman Year One, you would occasionally see this teenage girl who we'd refer to as Barb or Babs or something.
Okay.
And yeah, I think one said that she was his niece or maybe his stepdaughter.
Interesting.
But it seems now they're just calling her his daughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've probably decided on the previous marriage thing at this point.
Okay. So are you liking? Because I've never read it. Are you liking Batgirl Year One? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think having become the parent of teenagers has really changed the way I view some of these characters. And I first experienced this with Spider-Man: Homecoming. Whereas in previous movies, I was like really rooting for for Spider-Man. Like, yeah, he's awesome. He can do anything. And in Homecoming, I spent the whole movie identifying more with Tony Stark, thinking, this kid, he's really got to be looked after. No, he's not ready for this.
Yeah.
And I'm having similar feelings about Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon while I'm reading these books. Like, these kids, they're putting themselves in danger and gonna get themselves killed.
Yeah.
And like at the beginning of Batgirl, you identify with her because everyone is underestimating her because she's short and she wants to prove herself. And I'm starting to get behind that. Like, yeah, you go become Batgirl and you prove your worth to them. And then as she starts doing it, I'm thinking, girl, you're going to get yourself killed. Just give this up now before you die, please. Like I'm seeing, because Jim has basically forbidden her to pursue a career in the police force.
Okay.
I don't agree with him, but I can see where he's coming from. And I think he's about to discover that Batgirl is his daughter, and
okay.
I think I'm going to really connect with the emotions that he's about to feel. It's not as deep and gritty as some of the Batman books, like Batman Year One.
Yeah.
The art style and the tone are a bit lighter.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying it just because it's part of the story and it's advancing the world and the characters and all that.
Okay. Yeah, if you end up being interested in Batgirl and kind of sticking with her, I would recommend, it might turn out that a great series for you to read that I actually still want to read is Birds of Prey, where Barbara Gordon is Oracle, so she's in the wheelchair at that point, after she's been paralyzed. Have you read The Killing Joke?
No, I'm not up to that yet.
Okay.
But
do you know what happens in The
I don't
Killing
think
Joke?
that's on Universe Infinite, so I think I'm going to have to buy that.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
I'll bet you're right. In fact, I think I remember saying that in my review. That is so stupid.
Yeah.
You should be able to find a perfectly readable, beaten-up copy on Amazon somewhere.
That's possible. We do have an Amazon warehouse in Australia now.
Oh, okay.
What I usually do is just buy on Comixology, which is
okay.
Kindle.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, probably get it for good there.
Yeah, I should at least look for physical, because if there's an old beaten up copy that is cheaper, then yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, anyway, what I was going to say is, Gail Simone wrote Birds of Prey before the New 52, and then when the New 52 came along, they took away her paralysis. Not magically, they said that she actually went through some experimental treatments and she had a recovery that she really had to fight to achieve, but she eventually was back in form enough to be Batgirl again. And that series, as written by Gail Simone, I just finished reading through it a number of months ago, and from beginning to end, it's one of my favorite DC Comics reads, because you talked about her feeling like she's vulnerable and like, oh, she's putting herself in danger. Gail Simone writes Batgirl to be so vulnerable and so capable at the same time that I find it so engaging. It's because she feels vulnerable, and you're kind of getting inside of her head a lot and what she's thinking and feeling, and she's kind of like talking down to herself, like, "Oh crap, that was you're a terrible superhero." I mean, Bruce would just be like totally ashamed of what you just did, and how you flubbed that or whatever, and yet she is really capable at the same time. It's I don't know how she balances that, but if you end up finding Barbara Gordon to be an interesting character that you want to explore more, I highly recommend Gail Simone's New 52 Batgirl.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think once I get to the New 52, I'm going to do what you've been doing. I'll just like to do it month by month and follow...
And see what sticks.
The main characters and anything else that jumps out. At the moment, I'm just kind of doing let's just catch up on Superman. Let's catch up on Batman.
Sure.
And I'm probably going to do the Wally West Flash as well because at your recommendation, I read his origin. I forget what that was called.
Yeah, Born to Run is the storyline. I think.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to bother with Green Lantern until I get to the 2000s.
Okay.
Because I read the what's his name, that writer, Jeff Johns.
Oh, Jeff Johns.
Yeah, I read his origin story of Hal Jordan and really liked that. So.
Great. No, I think that's a totally legitimate place to start.
I'm looking forward to getting there.
Cool. Justin, did we lose you? Are you not at all into superheroes and comic books?
I don't read comics.
Okay, that's all right. Do you play any superhero video games, or do you like any superhero movies?
No, we talked before about it. I'm not too crazy about the whole superhero genre.
Okay.
So my middle son, he seems pretty interested in superhero stuff. So I probably will get more into that as he grows up.
What's the least painful superhero thing you've engaged in for the sake of your son so far?
He really likes those Paw Patrol guys. He's kind of at that age group, so I don't know if that's the least painful, but...
Gotcha. Okay. That's great.
He's really into Spider-Man, so...
Okay.
Maybe we'll watch some of those. I know I watched a few of those when I was younger.
Gotcha. Okay. So, is it like just indifference toward the genre, or is there something about it that you're like you don't like? Like, this is kind of ridiculous, or something like that.
I guess it's kind of just having to suspend belief for superpower sort of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like magic or sci-fi and stuff like that's a little more explainable. It's easier to suspend disbelief on that stuff.
Okay.
Where I feel like it's just, this person has superpowers for some reason. It's harder for me to... Like just take Spider-Man, for instance. Like, he got bit by a radioactive spider, and now he has spider powers. It's really hard to... It's one of those things. It's just a leap I'm not as willing to make, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's also just they're all kind of set in the modern day, and when I want to, have an escape fantasy, I don't really want to think about the modern setting. So that could be it, too.
Interesting. Okay. So do you, between fantasy and sci-fi, Justin, is there one you gravitate toward more?
Sci-fi, normally. So,
okay.
Skyrim and Ni no Kuni are definitely more in that fantasy genre, but
okay.
I definitely like sci-fi more as far as movies and TV shows go, especially.
Okay.
Like, if you want to go franchise, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm a Halo fan, and you brought up the TV show, and I've been watching it kind of regularly whenever I get a chance. And I'm a fan of Halo, and I think it's a good series.
Good.
I understand that, some people are like, well, they're changing who Master Chief is. I'm like, yeah, but he really wasn't. He didn't really have character in the games, He's kind of the lack of character you're supposed to see yourself as the character. So when someone else is taking over the story, they welcome to tell the story how they want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, even though, you're not a fan of superheroes per se, I think that something that I learned or developed as a superhero fan is the ability to, most times these days, accept a different take on a property that I have previously loved in different hands. Because in comic books, the creatives are, who's in charge of the book is changing sometimes just every few months. Or sometimes you'll get a one-shot by a totally different creative team that's going to maybe treat or write the character or draw him a different way, and then add that to the fact that these characters have been around, many of them on a monthly basis, sometimes a weekly basis, for decades, and you kind of get just different takes on these characters. And so I think that, like, when a property goes from one medium to another, I'm more ready these days to just kind of go, okay, well, play to the strengths of this new medium that you're in, and just do something that still has some validity and some really strong enough ties that you can say, yes, this is a version of this other thing, But I tend to accept that it has, that it's going to have its own flavor, and I agree with you. If they're going to take something from, a genre where you're the player, and now they have to have one actor portray one character, that, it seems like you kind of have to decide to invent or reinvent a new character, or flesh him out or something. What do you think about that phenomenon, Adam, going from one medium to another, and the kind of creative license that's employed?
Yeah, I'm on a similar page. I am certainly open to new takes. I don't know, because I was so new to comics, I don't think I developed that from comics. I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe it just came from seeing new takes and going, oh, this is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the ultimate one was Man of Steel, because that was quite a different take.
Yeah.
In terms of the movies, that was the first real break away from Christopher Reeve, and because I loved that one so much, and I was watching, I'm going, yeah, this is very different. There, I see so many differences, but liking it.
Yeah,
that's yeah. I've never played Halo, but I have seen the first episode of the TV show, and yeah, to me it was just a thought, oh, this is a pretty cool looking sci-fi show. So I don't have that baggage.
First episode is kind of misleading to the rest of the season.
Really?
That first episode is heavy action and shooting and everything. It's the rest of the season is a lot more like the second part where they're in the ship talking to each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot. And one thing I would criticize the people who are making the show is that they make him take his helmet off way too much. Like in The Mandalorian, there was like actual weight to him taking his helmet off, like it was part of his creed.
Yep.
And if you are studied on the lore of Halo, like if you take the helmet off, the suit becomes inert. Like it just stops working. So they literally retconned the way the suit works to have all these Spartans with their helmets off, like just to give people face time, where they could have took a more like Mandalorian approach and actually made these actors act through the helmets.
Yeah.
And like they could have made it a lot better in that way. That's my one gripe with it, is that it feels like they're taking their helmets off way too much just to show these guys' faces and have them, act with expression instead of acting through a helmet, which is hard.
Yeah.
It is much harder. Like when you see someone like Mandalorian do it, it's like that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I can see why doing that. Yeah, the Mandalorian did it really well, in that final episode where he has to take it off, and you see just what a sacrifice that is for him. Like that was powerful. But I was really dubious coming into the Mandalorian, because I'm thinking, this guy wears this helmet all the time. Why even bother hiring an actor? he's basically not a voice actor at best at that point. And like, why would he even want the job? So I can understand from the showmaker's point of view why they want to show the face without the helmet more often, especially if it doesn't have that emotional weight like the Mandalorian does.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it doesn't work with is a much less compelling reason to keep it on for me.
Yeah, but if you dig into the lore, like there's this game theory guy who did a whole thing on like why is it one punch kills a Spartan, and it was for that very reason, that the weight of the helmet and then it's like slamming into the neck and causing a disconnect because the helmet like connects into the back of their head. I mean, you see the markings on the Spartans, and it tells the suit what to do and everything. Like it connects the Spartan to the suit, so they had to redesign the suit so the suit could connect to the Spartan without the helmet on.
I wonder if another option would have been, in addition to having the helmet off less and not changing that lore, if they could have been content for him to do more mask acting, which is its own skill. I actually could see, Adam, why maybe that actor would be interested in the challenge of mask acting, because you have to, your head movements, the way you cock your head or rotate or when you choose to move, there really is a skill to that. In fact, they replaced the actor who originally was in the movie V for Vendetta partway through because he was just struggling and he was struggling with things related to mask acting. But anyway, I mean, they could also go the Iron Man route maybe here and there where they show an in-helmet shot now and then to give us reaction shots maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And they literally do it. If you watch the movie later, or the series, you get later into the series, there's times where he has to put the helmet back on.
Oh, okay.
And they do the in-helmet shot from Iron Man. Like, so they showed that they could still do that, but they decided they were... So I understand the criticism of, like, Master Chief almost never takes his helmet off in any of the games.
Yeah.
And so I can see the criticism there. Like, that's my one gripe. But, I mean, it's a good story otherwise. I like having a little more backstory to where John actually came from. And I feel like they're actually digging into the source material more. So...
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Cool. So anything nerdy that either of you guys are looking forward to?
Not really. Just gotta prep for my podcast this weekend.
Okay. That's the Revelation on Demand podcast, or am I confusing you with somebody else?
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's me.
All right. Okay. Do you do that weekly?
Every other week.
Okay. I
might switch it up to weekly depending on how, because I kind of feel like I've lost my co-host. So.
Oh, okay.
I think I might start recording more often just to get more. I want to go for 7 years at least. And see how it looks then.
Okay.
So.
And what's the format? Are you kind of doing a front to back verse by verse study, or I can't remember?
Yeah, we're walking through more of the spiritual books of the Bible. So we started off in Revelation, and we're just kind of walking through prophets and stuff like that. I started into Isaiah on this latest one, so that one's going to be a really long season of podcast, 66 chapters.
So when you call it Revelation on Demand, you're not specifically talking the Book of Revelation. You just mean broadly speaking, God's revelation to humanity through His Word, that kind of thing.
Exactly, and I tend to focus more on the spiritual realm of things and prophecies and end time stuff. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I can, if you enter into the world that is solo monologue podcasting, I will be able to relate to some of the downsides of that. Of sitting in front of a mic and saying, okay, I'm going to talk nonstop all by myself for this length of time. Here we go.
Yeah, no, I've had to do a few solo podcasts, and again, like the last couple episodes, it's just been me, so... It's just my co-host completely ghosted on me. I don't know what happened to him. Hope he's okay.
Yeah. Adam, how about you? Anything nerdy you're looking forward to?
I'm kind of thinking. Well, we've been talking as a family, maybe this weekend even, trying to see the new Jurassic World movie.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm pretty keen to check out.
Cool.
Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh, is that good?
Oh, yeah, good. You saw it. Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
I'm glad to hear that. I've been seeing, murmurings on the internet of, oh, it's a terrible movie, which I completely ignore. But it's good to hear someone say it's good. Nice.
Well, it gave me what I came to Jurassic Park for: giant lizards hunting down people.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I think that's fair and totally legitimate. What I'm looking forward to is seeing the dinosaurs in our world and even maybe kind of taking over our world, which is something that the movies have never quite got to until now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely cool.
I can see this even being like the beginning of a whole new, like if this does well, and maybe it hasn't, but let's do more of this. Like, let's launch into a whole new series of almost post-apocalyptic kind of dinosaur movies.
Like jump forward 10 years. Jump forward 10 years, maybe new cast, maybe you could get some returning cast members now and then, but like they could easily do exactly what you're talking about, Adam. That'd be something. I'll bet people would love that too.
They kind of did that with the video game. They've got the Jurassic Evolution, something like that, and it's the one with the Jurassic World expansion or something like that. And it's literally you build these what are they called? The rangers, the people who take care of the national parks and stuff like that.
Rangers.
Gosh,
that's the only word that comes to mind.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. There's a name for it, but anyways, they are taking over the care and watching over these animals. So you're building like these habitats to hold the more dangerous animals.
Okay.
It's all set like in America and around the world, like out, not just on the islands.
Post-apocalyptic with dinosaurs, man. That sounds so like basic, like it should have been done already. You know, you know what I mean? Right? I can't believe that hasn't been done. That's perfect because it's like the reverse. We always talk about dinosaurs being extinct, and then humanity comes along, and then you reverse it. You got
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that'd be.
Adam,
that'd be pretty cool to watch.
You've lost all the money by sharing it here. Who knows who's going to see this now?
Yeah.
This little video tucked away that almost no one has access to even.
Well, when it comes out, I'll know who to talk to.
That's right.
Oh, thanks, Harry.
Wow. Never got one.
Thanks, mate. I'm just getting hand-delivered dessert by my son.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It's, I suppose, morning tea, we'll call it, because it's 11:28.
Man, Go ahead.
So no, we had breakfast delivered, just because it's a holiday, and it was it'll probably do for lunch as well, because it was a big breakfast and it was quite late.
I've been, I edit my marathon 1 hour segments or whatever and put those up on Thursdays, and man, it can be hard sometimes to stay on my diet when I'm just watching myself snack with all my favorite snacks as I'm editing these things. Dang it. But in 2 weeks, it's going to be about a week and a half. Well, no, I'll probably carb some next weekend because Holly's taking some time off. We're going to do some family vacation stuff. So, but I'll really go nuts in like 2.5 weeks, I think, when I go and visit my buddy Mark and we have a gaming weekend. Then I'm going to load up and take it with me on that car ride.
Ooh.
Well, this is good to kind of get a little bit of my gaming in, because I might end up working a little bit later tonight to get ready for the time off I'm going to have. I've got like 2 weeks in a row coming up that are going to be crunched, and then a regular week, and then another really crunched week. It's kind of weird schedule coming up for me, but I think it'll be good. I'm trying to figure out right now whether or not I want to try and play the tabletop game I've just started playing now that I'm really enjoying, called 4 Against Darkness. Whether or not I want to try and have that be part of the tabletop live stream that I'll be doing in about 3 or 4 weeks from now. But it's a little bit of a different beast, and so I'm not exactly sure how to maybe set up cameras for it. But man, I'm really digging it.
Sounds cool. Can't wait to see it. Well, looks like baseball practice is over, so I'm gonna head out, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess it is. It is actually time for me to wrap this up too. Anyway, so, but good talking to you guys. I was all by myself with the crickets and just monologuing the last 2 months, and I thought to myself, well, if nobody shows up this time, then I probably need to put up a poll and see if anybody wants me to keep doing these. But so it was a really pleasant surprise for 2 of you guys to be here and chat it up with me. That was fun.
Yeah, no, I've missed doing this, so it's been really cool.
Cool. All right. Well,
yeah, I've been meaning to make it, so I'm glad I can make it today.
Oh yeah, me too. All right, guys. Well, it'll be good to connect another time when we can. But in the meantime, enjoy your weeks and your families, and I'll talk to you again later.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. Hey, I'm Peter Franson from Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central. Thank you for checking out my Patreon video. Since 2006, I've been operating as Spirit Blade Productions to create entertainment and resources that equip, encourage, and inspire Christian geeks to live in the freedom and purpose that Christ offers. Starting with our genre-bending audio drama Spirit Blade, we soon expanded to include a ton more under the banner of Christian Geek Central. As Spirit Blade Productions, I still produce audio stories, but every week as Christian Geek Central, I also put out free content for Christian geeks who love their hobbies and want to live life intentionally. I talk about movies, video games, tabletop games, and comic books from both a passionate fan perspective and a discerning biblical worldview. I also like to highlight the endeavors of other creative Christian geeks and host live streams to bring our community together. Through our weekly in-depth Bible study, I make unique life application to geeks because we're a pretty unique kind of people. And finally, the Christian Geek Central podcast brings all that content together in what is, to my knowledge, the longest running show of its kind. Now I want to invite you to become a Spirit Blade Productions patron to help keep this all going and growing while getting some fun rewards for yourself. Patreon is a platform that allows people to support their favorite creators through a monthly donation, and each of the multiple donation tier options has its own set of rewards, like my exclusive Pater's Brain podcast, revealing my dramatic ups and downs in the work I'm doing. You can also get access to private live events, audio entertainment, and more. And at any subscription level, you are a Spirit Blade insider with an influential voice as I make decisions, because you help make it all possible and ensure that my web hosting and other expenses are covered. I'm able to continue producing free content for Christian Geek Central. I'm able to move forward creating imaginative audio storytelling from Spirit Blade Productions. And I can experiment and expand to create additional content in the future. To those already supporting my work, thank you so much for making it a tangible reality. It's such an honor and blessing to me and my wife Holly. If you're still considering supporting this work, please don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. I want to be an open book as much as I can. Thank you again for your consideration.